this is another episode of Straight Talk with Sgt Chuck. I've been asked lately a lot of times how I knew I was an entrepreneur, and I'm going to tell my story in a short version about that right now. When I was 13 years old, my father passed away, and my mom moved us up to Ellensburg, Washington when I was 15. I spent the next 2 summers working on farms for money, and I shocked oats, I bucked bales of hay, I plowed fields driving tractors, I irrigated the old-fashioned way by shovel, I built fences again the old-fashioned way with a post hole digger, and then I worked with cattle doing branding, dehorning, and castrating. Although I was technically an employee of these farmers, I could work some piecework in there too. I discovered that if I got to know the farmers, that sometimes they had equipment that broke down a lot, so I'd take the $1.25 an hour from those guys. But guys who had good equipment, I would say, hey, we can both be more efficient if you pay me by the bale, and I'd charge 3 cents a bale. They could keep their balers spitting out bales onto the sled, and I could stack them and push them off the sled at the rate of 75 to 100 bales an hour, so I'd make 2 to 3 times as much as the $1.25 an hour. So that was kind of an eye-opener for me as far as being an entrepreneur. I was in great demand from local farmers up there for one reason. I worked my ass off. A work ethic has stayed with me throughout my life, and I think that's important to any entrepreneur. Along the same times, I bought a goat. I had her bred. I raised her kids, which are baby goats, and then I milked the goats, and then bought bum lambs, which are sheep whose mother has abandoned them. Generally, they abandoned them because they had 3 lambs and they only had 2 nipples, and so one of them would be left out, so you could buy them for $2 a piece. And then I would feed them the bottled milk. I would either sell them for lamb chops, or I would raise them to adults, sell the wool. Along the same time, in my farm days, I bought an old white horse named Napoleon and kept him for about a year. Then I sold him to buy my first car. Wait for it, that first car was a 1946 GMC pickup. I joke now that the driver in my golf bag cost more than the first 2 cars I bought put together. I tell you the car story because there's more stories to go with that, which I may share later, but I had 22 cars by the time I was 20 and made a lot of money buying and selling cars as an entrepreneur as well. So anyway, this is how the entrepreneur in me was born. I learned with a plan and with great work ethic, you could turn almost anything into money. I encourage you to teach your children and grandchildren the same thing. This has been an episode with Straight Talk with Sgt Chuck. Love you to join the Arizona Marketing Association. The association resources are chock full of things to help you grow your business. You can find us at arizonamarketingassociation.org. There's a big green button there for you to join for just $19.95 per month. Also, I'm a business coach. If you'd like to be coached by a real Marine sergeant, I'm your guy, and I'm damn good at it. Thanks for tuning in.